let's go through Lico's 381. Insert, delete, get random in O1 complexity. In a duplicates allowed. For this question, let us design implement the class random collection, and it allows us to insert and remove and get random. We need a O1 time complexity. And the things that for the insert value, it will always insert successful. But the things that if it already exists, it will return false. It's before we insert it, it already exists, return false. If it doesn't exist, return true. And also remove is just for example, we had this value, we have appears 5 times. I'll remove the last one, right? For example, we'll get it as 4 records. So what we're thinking about is that we still need a list, right? List to put those kind of values, right? And also the things that we need to have a map. For example, this map have a key as a value, right? But now because this value may appear multiple positions in this list, right? So we should have a list of integer. This kind of things as indexes, right? As its value. So for insert, right? So we just append our records, and also what we do is that we use a check whether this map have this value or not, right? Doesn't have, then create a new list as a value and add the value, right? And if it exists, just add this to value directly and then return true or false. That is based on whether this key exists or not. And then for remove, what we do is that we first check this kind of value. How in the list, how many indexes is. So we find the last index. Oh, in this kind of we just use O1 time to get the last, right? But the thing is that we need to make sure this index, because when we insert, right, we delete this index, may be some of the order may be not be kept as original, may not be in ascending order anymore, right? Because we have the insert and delete values. So what we're thinking about is that for this kind of list, instead of put the list value into it directly, but we put the value and the index of this list, the 2 values into the list, right? So that when we remove, is that we can get this kind of for example, we find this kind of value, right? And the thing is that if this value is the last, right? It's the last, we just remove this directly. But if it's not last, we need we get this out and get this out, right? And we know this value, and this is the index of for example, this is the last element of in its list, right? And also for this value, we know so that's the last one, right? The last one. And we do the swap, right? Swap is that we needed to set this last element. It's for this position, this kind of index, right? So after this analysis, let's write code for it. We know we need to have a list of int. We call list, right? We should have map, integer, and list of integer, right? This is a map. The key will be the value, and the value, this will be the indexes in this kind of list. Right? Of course, we need a random instance. So what we do is that we need to have list equals new array list. And we should have map equals new hash map. And we create a random instance. And then for insert, first let's check whether key exists or not. Right? Who exists? Boolean equals map contains key, right? Contains key value. Then we return non-exists, right? And then no matter it exists or not, we always need to insert, right? So what we do is that map compute if absent value, it goes to new array list. So what we add is the list size, right? And also we need to have the list to add new int. So this will be the value, right? So for should be this kind of array list, the size minus one, right? So that will be map get value dot size minus one. So this is the insert. For remove is that we'll say if map doesn't contains key value, right? So there is nothing to do. We return false. So let's have is the integer is the index is right because map get value, and we need to get the remove index. That is int remove x equals index because index get index size minus one, right? And I will say if we can just remove it directly, right? Remove. Um, and also this one is returning the index, right? So it's write two lines code. So we'll say if index is empty now, then we need to remove the map entry, right? So that is map dot remove this kind of value. And we'll say if this kind of remove index is smaller than list dot size minus one, right? So that is they are not the same. Then we need to do the swap. So we'll get last element equals list get list size minus one, right? And we'll say for our list, right, should set remove index to be last element. And we should have map get last element dot value last element 0. We should set last element 1, right? Last element 1 as remove index. And we should also we should also have this list remove the last element, right? Remove the size -1 and return true. And the get random should be simple. I should have int random index equals random rd next int list dot size return list get random index, and the first one is its value, right? Let's call this remove index instead. Okay. The Python code is very similar, right? So you can also write the Python code, and we should have a list, right? Self dot list equals this, right? And we should have a self dot map equals default dict. For the it should be a list, right? So what we do is that we should see present exists equals present equals value not in self dot map, right? And we return the let's put it in, right? Um, it's nothing, not present. So we just added this one to the map and also added to the list itself of the map. This kind of value should append length self dot list map, and also this self dot list append should be the two things, right? One is the value, another is the length self dot map dot value. Should -1, right? This is insert. So for remove, we set if value not in self dot map should return false. Then we should have index is equals self dot map dot value, right? And remove ID equals index is dot top. So the last one is to remove. And the things that we need to check whether the map is empty or not, right? So now if not, um, if not in IDs, right? So we should have delete self dot map dot value, right? So that is if this kind of IDs, this list become empty, we should remove the entry from the map. Right? So if now we remove ID is smaller than length self of the list minus one, right? Means this is not the last one in the list. Then we have last element equals self the list. We can use minus one, right? Minus one. We'll have self that list remove ID equals last element. And also we should have self that map last element 0. Last element 0. And the last element 1, right? Equals that is for this map, right? We should update this kind of index, right? The last element 1 to be removed index. And then we should have a self of the list of pop. And we should return true, right? And for GetRandom, what we need is that we should have a return self data list random int 0 to length self data list minus 1, and we'll get the first element, right? That is its value.